Well, hello and welcome to this special edition of Not Just Crew. As we've always said, we'll try and bring you a show on a Monday. Well, here we are, the 8th of November, and I think it's a day we've been waiting for quite a long time. As you know, the aviation industry has been absolutely in turmoil and decimated over these past, well, pretty much coming up to 2 years. But today we thought we'd do a show because it was quite unique, whether you've had a rough time or not with the airlines, having a BA plane take off in parallel with a Virgin Atlantic at the same time will be, whether we like it or not, an iconic image in years to come. So I'm guessing we're sort of at the beginning of the road of sort of going back to a semi-normal anyway. But anyway, tonight I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Simon Costello, who's got some news of his own today. A Sunderland fan.
I can't believe I've just seen that.
Well, he can tell us more about. But he has some big news anyway. He has fallen foul of the dreaded COVID, or that's a bit like Kodak, COVID. I'll let him tell us about that anyway. But well, Simon, talk about it now. Why not?
No, well, I had a bit of a PCR test yesterday because I felt a bit tired, a bit run down, kind of thing. My daughter had, she'd not been feeling well either. So anyway, I went for a PCR test yesterday, and the results came through this afternoon, and it's COVID positive. So tested positive for COVID, but I've been double vaccinated. I've even had my booster as well. So I feel Steve Elwood did a great blog not long ago, and he did like a day-to-day kind of like analysis of like what he was going through, and I just feel rubbish. Like I just feel so tired. Breathing's all right, temperature up and down like a yo-yo, but I just feel so tired. I've got like zero energy. But like, it was a shame this morning. I was such great mood because like obviously the news of all the flights going back and heading over to the USA, and obviously that dual takeoff going from Heathrow, where you had the Virgin plane, the British Airways plane, took off at exactly the same time. I was watching Big Jet TV this morning, and they both took off. I think it was just after 8:45, and it was quite emotional to see. To be fair, like all of like the people who were at the airport, Terminal 3 and at Terminal 5, British Airways, Virgin, and just the happy faces of families who are actually going over, they've been double vaccinated, to go and see their loved ones, and actually they've not seen them for nearly 2 years, Trev.
Yeah. No, it has been, and it has been quite two years. I mean, just as we're getting used to that kind of lifestyle, it's touch wood, gonna get back to normal. But no, that will be an image that they will show every time they talk about COVID and the airline industry. They will talk about it. But anyway, look, I'm going to bring in a friend and colleague who was actually on Times Radio very early this morning, about 5:30 in the morning, chatting about this. And she's coming back to the airline, so I'll bring her in. It's our dear old friend Kaylee Kay, cabin crew again, and author. Hello, Kaylee. Hello. Well done. Yeah, you don't look that tired, seeing as you were on the radio quite early this morning.
Go for pre-recording, eh?
What, people pre-record?
No, I didn't. That just slipped out. No, I was definitely up at 5 o'clock.
No, it was quite an interview and quite a sort of big day. It's quite emotional for you because you yourself are coming back to flying. It's something that you probably, you pretty much resigned yourself that the fact you weren't coming back flying, and you'd already started another career, and in that time I think you'd launched another two books, one at the beginning of COVID and one not so long ago. But so how are you feeling at the moment?
So I went in for my training last week. On day one, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing, but it was a case of if I don't go back, I'll never know. And there's that survivor's guilt of being the one that gets to go back, knowing that so many didn't. Day two, I just laughed all day with my colleagues. And by the end of that day, I was like, I just really miss the people, the mindset, and like a lot of us, we've got to go back. And if it's not right anymore, because it's going to be different, it's going to be harder, the layovers are different, then we'll leave on our own terms, won't we? But but just to go back and see. And you know what, even without the going back flying, even if I wasn't going back flying, the fact that I could go on holiday to New York now, or go to or just that freedom coming back, I think that's the most exciting thing, more so than the job, is just having that freedom to go and do that.
Yeah.
So Kaylee, how did you actually find out that you were actually going to go back to your flying career?
They started asking us to go back, the ones of us that were lucky enough to get the holding pool a couple of months ago. And at first I'm like, no, not good enough conditions. Come back when there's something better. But I don't think you'll ever win against big corporations. You know, it's not personal. You're just a number. And then eventually it's like, well, we need all of you back, and we need you all back in 4 weeks. And if you don't want to come back, then unfortunately you might lose your chance. So it was kind of time to do it, to try it. And now I'm glad I did. And I hope it's everything I hope it will be. And if it's not, then, but yeah, it's just been such a whirlwind. I really didn't expect to be going anywhere outside of the UK on holiday or working before the end of this year, let alone early next year. And now it's all just suddenly changed, hasn't it? Since that announcement from Biden when he opened up the borders. Yeah. Life might be.
I was going to say, how long did it actually take you to make that decision? You're going back. Did you sleep on it, or do you think, well, yeah, I might as well just go for it?
I think the first time when I said no, thank you, it was the first time I felt like I'd actually made a choice, because I was made redundant, and I felt very sort of hurt by that, I think. So being able to say no, thank you was really empowering, and I was kind of like, you know, felt good about that. But when it felt like it was now or never, then I was like, oh, do I want to always wonder if I should have gone back? And there's no point being stubborn, because they don't care.
No, this is it.
There's no point being stubborn. I've got the option. I am lucky to have that. And I'm just going to go back and see how it is. And I just miss the people. I mean, if I could sit and talk to you guys every night on here, I'd be quite happy. But when you're just in your own little life without any crew, and that banter, that meal, we all know, you know what we miss, don't we? So yeah. And then I saw the loads for my flight, and I'm like, I don't know where anything is.
Oh no! Are you going straight back into rank?
Yeah, on a full 350 New York with less crew than we used to have.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck on that one.
Thank you.
You can talk to us, because as it happens, Simon and I will be launching a 24-hour show soon. You'll be able to be a constant guest on that. I don't know when it's going to launch, but yeah, it's going to be on it 24 hours a day. But anyway, look, Kaylee, okay, it was amazing. You spoke to Times Radio today, a bit like Ali, another presenter on Not Just Crew. You are starting to become the media go-to person, which is brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I hope you've been able to plug your book. But when you take a look at this image, this is one of the ones that we think will become an iconic. In fact, Simon, I know you put up another post today, and we must thank Big Jet TV for this image, by the way. But somebody managed to get another one from the other angle with the with a Virgin plane. But I mean, look, it's quite a look, and it just shows you, and we've sort of found this with Project Wingman as well, how sort of less hostile the airlines actually seem to be to each other. I'm sure on the boardroom it's still there, but isn't that a nice image? Just for once,
it's just not all about. It's about bigger things now, isn't it? After the year and a half we've all had, it's about bigger things than petty rivalry and who's made the biggest profit and who. It's about so much more. And like I said, I think it's just about getting our freedom back, just being able to go where we want to go, when we want to go. And yeah, that's an amazing picture. But yeah, I agree.
It is. I absolutely like it. But no, Simon, I know you put, go on.
Yeah, also just like when you saw all the crews outside of the terminals today, they were waving the flags, the USA flags and the Union Jack. It was just so
I might have an
good
image
to
of
see.
that.
Have you?
Yeah, I might have. Yeah, go on. You carry on speaking, or I'll see if I can.
No, it was just so good to see. So Sean Doyle, who obviously runs British Airways, and Shea Vice, who's the chairman of Virgin Atlantic, who were both standing side by side together, talking about the airwaves sort of radios. the skies were opening back up again. Well done, Trev. It's so good to see them together. What I will like to add though, Kaylee, and also for you, Trevor, going back to flying, Kaylee, more so. Yes, it's going to be a lot harder work-wise, physically, on board that aircraft, but you've just got to put everything that's happened out of your mind
Yeah.
while you're on that plane, because that's your job. Your job is to be on that aircraft. I know it's going to be harder than what it ever was in the past. It's going to be physically more demanding, but you've got to put, and everybody has to put what's happened out of their mind when they're on that plane, and I'm sure they will, because that's your job at the end of the day, to get on that plane, look after the safety of the passengers, give them the best service that you possibly can. That's the job.
I've chosen to go back. I've chosen to go back, and I know there's less crew, and I know things are different, and I'm okay with that. So I can't moan, and I won't moan once I get on board, because I've chosen to go back. So what right do I have to? I'm not going to go back and then moan. I appreciate I've got the chance to go back, and I'll make the most of it for me. And if it doesn't work, I will leave. But I kind of feel like it probably will work. It probably will be okay. So.
Yeah. It's just going to be harder. It's just going to be harder. That's
but
all.
It is only so long. And a flight is only so long, and then you get off of it. Well, apart from the ultra long hauls, but hopefully they're almost a thing of the past. Mm-hmm. But, I've been working in care and adults with like personality disorders, and I found that a lot harder on my mind than doing a flight that might be long and physically hard. So,
And nobody knows more than myself and Trevor over the last 2 years how difficult it has been for people who have lost their jobs, because that's been kind of like the place where not just crew have evolved, because people unfortunately have lost their jobs and have suffered with mental fatigue and suffered emotional distress and financial suffering, trying to find that other career. And that's where we went to try and help people. We know how hard it was and how hard it is still for people, and we'll never lose sight of that. But what we're trying to do is give people a way of moving forward and get away from that negative kind of mind thought process and focus on the future and try to be as positive as possibly they can. And if those people are going back to work and they are in the skies, then that's got to be a good thing, because exactly what you said, Kelly, a lot of people didn't have that last flight. Now people have got that chance to make their decision whether they want to stay or they want to go. That choice has been given back to them.
Yeah. And there were other airlines on. I do think with me, if I didn't have the choice to go back to this airline, I might have considered others, perhaps if I really did want to go back flying, or I would just have lots of holidays. I don't know, because I never knew with me whether I missed the flying or I missed the travel and the freedom. So, I hope everyone sort of navigates anew and finds where they want to be, because there's more choices now, isn't there?
Yeah. How's that uniform fitting you now, Kaylee?
Tight. Very tight.
Even better.
They may be even tighter when you try the new crew cart. Anyway,
oh my word!
You'll see what I mean when you get on it. But listen, I think the main thing we've got to do is acknowledge. I mean, even when we started this up, we thought if the aviation industry actually get through this, and there was a time when we thought some of those major airlines were going to go under. We knew even then that flying would never be the same again. Already long haul trips have been cut down to sort of almost 24 hours. And I know if you're on the outside of the industry, you think, well, God, that you were giving holidays anyway. That's what they thought. That was their impression, that we were just constantly on holiday. But it is tiring. It is, because I'm back already, as you know, Kaylee, and it's tiring, but it is good to be there knowing that you've got the choice to be there. And I think that's something we've got to acknowledge. The airlines have survived. And I think the industry is in for a massive renaissance. I think it's going to grow massively again now, as it has done every time we've had a scare, whether it be SARS. But this time, I mean, this was a year and a half. During SARS, I didn't have any time off at all. I just started going to sort of different destinations. But this is it's a strange start, slow but steady. But it is getting busier. But no, it's great to have you back in back flying, Kaylee. It really is.
It is. It's great. It's brilliant news. I'm so pleased. We were so pleased for you, darling. It's really, really tremendous news. I'll tell you what I've got to say as well. What I hope for the future of like every airline this goes for as well. I know they've had to make so many cutbacks to get to this point and for airlines to still be afloat. I'm only hoping that when obviously the revenue and the money does start coming in and everything picks up, that the airline starts to kind of release the grip and the tightness of like obviously crew complement on board aircrafts, like the services. I only hope that slowly kind of like the grips released and they can start like relieving the fatigue of the cabin crew, because I can only imagine what it must be like for crew at the moment working those flights. It must be so physically demanding, especially with the loads on board the aircraft as they are now. I mean, Kaylee, your first flight going back, that's rammed, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I hope that sooner rather than later, the managers all realise that, right, okay, then we're all heading in the right direction now. We can kind of ease off a little bit and start relieving the pressures of the crew on board that aircraft, because I can't even begin to imagine. Because when I used to fly, there was so many crew, it was ridiculous. It was like, probably too many, but like at least.
And we probably moaned about it then.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I remember doing a San Fran, there'd be 17 crew, and if you were 3 crew down, it was like, oh my God, it was like, it was the end of the world. And now, like some airlines, I think it's like 9 crew, like in the cabin. And that to me is just mind-boggling. So I only hope that they look at that and then they go, right, come on, let's the money's coming in now. We can get more crew back on, and then and just things start getting put in
I like
place.
your optimism.
Well, I hope it does. I really hope it does.
Yeah,
because
so do we all. Yeah,
because the fatigue. I know what fatigue's like. I know what it's like. It's draining, and you can only do so much. The physical demands of the cabin crew on board, especially if you're commuting up and down the country to get home, it's dangerous for starters. Once you land in Heathrow and you've got a 5-hour journey back to wherever you live, or you're flying back to wherever, it's not safe. So, I only hope things turn around quickly and they'll look at that, because you've got to look after your staff. You've got to look after your health of your staff, and healthy crew, healthy mind, healthy business. I've just made that up. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
zoned out then.
Yeah. But no, we've also got to remember, and so we're going to keep this one brief anyway. But we've got to remember that everyone else is starting up, like the catering units are starting up again. So it's going to take a while for everything to get sort of back to whatever normal is nowadays. But no, it will happen. But as I said before,
one last thing with me, like I jumped into care because there was nothing else. But now that I'm going back flying, I keep getting notifications for really good little jobs that I would have been really interested in a year and a half ago. And possibly if I'd landed those jobs, I wouldn't have gone back flying. But those jobs are out there. If you now don't want to go back flying, there's actually some good jobs out there, and not so many people going for them now. So.
There's some amazing job. In fact, we've got one, and again, it was never been meant to be a plug, but we've got one in London. Had I not had so much on, I'd probably applied for it myself.
Yeah.
In West London. What's the title again, Si? Because I know
luxury goods courier services.
Yeah. It's ambassador. Yeah, courier.
It's can't name the company.
Can't name the company, but it's a. I mean, it's like 32k a year. You work as a team. You're going for a briefing. Unfortunately, you've got to be in the London area. If anyone is interested, go and have a look. It's on our group page. But I mean, they're an amazing job, and we've managed to get loads of crew who either were made redundant or literally had enough of flying, but they still like the airline atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they've managed. I mean, we've got some quite well-known people within the airlines of the world into those jobs. So it is out there. And you again, it's what it's always about, is utilising your skills that you've gained as a cabin crew. So no, it's been quite amazing. But no, Kaylee, thank you so much for coming on this really quick show. It's nice to do a Monday show again. But I'll leave the last words to you guys before I wrap up. Kaylee, go on.
I can't. I've gone blank. Simon, over to you.
Well, just think when you go back flying, you can write all those other novels and all those sequels.
Absolutely, I'll get my layovers back, my quiet time, because it's so hard to find the time now. So yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll tell you what though, you'd be forgiven to go out on your first trip down route.
yeah.
And just
I'm
let
not
yourself-
writing on my first trip. No,
Just hit that bar and get absolutely
100%. Yeah,
good luck.
100%.
Enjoy your first flight back, Kaylee.
I will do. Thank you.
Right. Well, other than that, guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us on a Monday. It is starting to happen. Again, can't believe it's been a year and a half, 18 months. So, and we're coming up to another, I hate to mention it, another Christmas roster. The next roster out is for Christmas, and then we'll be in 2022. But as I say, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we've got some big projects going on behind it, but in the background that will hopefully let you know just before the new year. But other than that, thank you all so much, and see you soon. Bye.
Oh, there's my aeroplane gone flying.